What's going on, Chargers fans? Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Will Ortner. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about a double dose of good news for the Los Angeles Chargers, or at least a double dose of good predictions. Because right now, it is the offseason. And unfortunately, there's no practicing. Believe it or not, it's not good for your body to play football year-round. So a lot of these guys right now, they're taking some rest, they're taking some relaxation, and that leads the media into these situations where we're doing Mount Rushmores, we're doing predictions, we're having debates over things that, well, frankly, probably don't matter that much. But I do think that both of these predictions are kind of fun to discuss and talk about, so we're going to be doing it on the show today. Who could end up being an all-pro for the Chargers? Looks like a player's about to take their big leap, and then who is an under-the-radar player that's actually going to be a big deal for this Chargers team. A lot of fun to discuss. I think if both of these players end up hitting the marks that we think that they can, that's going to be a really good thing for the team. And if they don't, well, at least we had fun having a debate, having a discussion in June. Let's beat our most liked video from last week. 213 likes. That's a great number. Let's beat it right now. That shows us that the football sickos, they're tuning in. I love my football sickos. Guys talking ball every single day. Hit the thumbs up button if you love the content that we've got going on here. Justin Herbert was listed as someone who can finally take that next step and be an all-pro. And I think a lot of Charger fans are going to have my back on this one. I think the national media has too much hate on him. I hear it all the time at the Chat Sports offices. They like to call Herbert If Man. And I think that's a lame nickname, because it's people not realizing just how good he is. He's almost getting punished for his successes. And that just, frankly, in my opinion, sucks. But it feels like the offense is going to be put in a position to where it's going to make it easy for Herbert to have his best season possible, because he's not going to be asked to do everything himself. And so PFF's Bradley Locker, he had this to say on why he thinks Justin Herbert can finally take that next step and be an all-pro player in the NFL. Herbert's 2025 season still feels like a vastly underappreciated one. Agreed, Bradley. Despite playing behind the league's lowest graded offensive line and with a receiving core that placed 20th in PFF receiving grade, the Chargers stud ranked 10th in overall PFF grade, 78.0 among qualified quarterbacks. Also encouraging was that Herbert's 2.6% turnover-worthy play rate tied for the fifth lowest, a.k.a. Justin Herbert put the team on his back and he did not turn the football over. Obviously, that 2025 year is a stellar one, and again, it's almost like his successes limited a lot of the negatives for the rest of the team, right? Justin Herbert was efficient with the football. He had a high QBR, didn't turn over the ball all that much, although that is one of his higher interception years, high completion percentage, and he was doing this all while getting beat up every single game. A lot of his wide receivers were dropping the football, and Justin Herbert was just asked to do more than frankly everyone else in the National Football League at that quarterback position. Now, just simply by osmosis, this offensive line is going to be better, because we're going to assume that Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, they are going to be able to stay healthy this year. When those two are healthy, that's two of the better tackles in the National Football League, and I think that you can make the argument that it's the best tackle tandem in the National Football League. Others may disagree, but I don't think it's that crazy to have that opinion. You factor in that you finally get a brilliant offensive mind that is going to be coaching Justin Herbert, that's going to set up an offense that isn't milk toast, an offense that it isn't clear what is going to be happening every single play. And I do believe that you're finally going to be able to see Justin Herbert take that next step, not because Justin Herbert takes the next step, but because the rest of the team around him takes one, maybe even two or three steps forward in how talented they are and in how well they are playing. And all of a sudden, you've got the makings for the first all-pro season for Justin Herbert. Let me know down below in the comment section. Do you think this is the year for our guy? Does Herbo get there? Is he going to get his first all-pro selection this year? Let me know if you think that answer is yes. Let me know if you think that answer is no. Now, if you're tuning into this show, you know you're asking for my opinion. I think this is the year. I think that Herbert finally gets over that hump. Look, I'm a little bit biased. I loved watching him at Oregon. He's a PNW kid, which is the same area that I am from, and I want the best for him. But I really do think that this Chargers team is stacking up to be one of the best in the National Football League, and he's going to get his due recognition. We got more to talk about on today's show, but first, I need to let you know that today's program is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the baseball season in full swing, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including hits, home runs, strikeouts, and several others across all sports. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at BigWill7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Now, let's talk about who can break out for the Chargers, because I think there are a lot of under-the-radar players that we frankly don't talk enough about in Los Angeles, and I think that's easy right now to focus on guys like Justin Herbert. We clearly do it here on the channel a lot. Quentin Johnston obviously having a big mini camp, hopefully going to have a big training camp, looking for some successes there. We're talking a lot about players that, well, frankly, we should be talking about a lot because they're having great seasons, and we already know that they are great players because of the successes that they've had out on the field. But who's the player right now that's under the radar? And what's interesting is we're not going to be talking about a UDFA guy here. Sorry, Dame Tucker, it's not going to be you. We're not going to be talking about a draft pick. Sorry, Brandon Thompson, this isn't about you. This is about a guy who's already been in the National Football League and played for a multitude of different teams. We're talking about Donte Jackson. And what's interesting about Jackson is he is a player that has shown that he can play well in the National Football League. But what I thought was interesting is Bleacher Report put out a list of their 8 candidates to be under the radar breakout types of players, guys that are more of an X factor, if you will. If you look at the teams that have had success in the National Football League and you look at Super Bowl winning teams, you look at teams that get to the Super Bowl, NFC and AFC championship games, yeah, of course they have stars. But for every star that they have 2 or 3 guys that are role players, if you will, that are taking steps forward and making big-time plays for their teams. And it certainly seems like Jackson could be in that spot, at least according to Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport. Outside of safety Derwin James, the Los Angeles secondary is short on star power. While youngsters Cam Hart and Tarheeb still have flashed at times, both have growing to do entering their 3rd seasons. Jackson is the foundation of the team's cornerback room, and if the Bolts are going to make noise in 2026, he needs to play like the team's best cover man again. Now, when I look at Jackson, obviously the success that he had in 2025 is a very big deal. The interception number is the one that jumps out to me. Now, when I look at the rest of the corners in that room, I'm not going to shade anyone here. I'm not going to attack anyone. Obviously, everyone knows Cam Hart, friend of the program. Go check out that interview that we had from Media Row over at Super Bowl. But what's important to look here is that Jackson is someone who's played in the National Football League for quite some time. And over the last 2 years, he has really proven with his 9 interceptions that he can be a ball hawk. He is someone that can go and make big-time plays. He had a lot of success in Jesse Minter's defense. I believe that he's going to have a lot of success in new defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary's system because it's similar. He's also someone who's been in the National Football League for a long time. He's got a veteran presence about him. And when you look at this team in Los Angeles, that secondary needs to continue to prove every single week that they are not the weak link for this team. They need to show that they are going to be able to create a bunch of turnovers and interceptions. And I'm not saying that they were the weak link last year. Everyone knows it was the offensive line. But to sit here and say that there is a ton of star power, that going into the year everyone's going to say, wow, look at how deep this cornerback room is, I don't know if that's necessarily the perspective that the national media has. But I think guys like Jackson are going to be able to show, Still and Cam Hart, those guys as well, are going to be able to show the national media just how talented that room is and just how good the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be next season. Will Jackson step up next year? Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment down below. I believe that he is. I think 4 interceptions is just the limit for this guy. I really think that from all the things that we've heard about the defense coming out of minicamp and OTAs, don't think you're going to see much, if any, regression. Now, early on, there might be some bumps in the road, but I really do think you're going to see a lot of success for this team in Los Angeles. And at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for. So I really do hope that we're going to see another big-time season for Jackson, helping out defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary. Hit the thumbs up button if you love the content that we've got here on the channel. Like I said, we make videos for you every single day. You don't want to miss out on it. How do you not miss out on it? Well, you subscribe to the channel. It's free videos every single day where we inform and we try to entertain you. Now, unfortunately, there will never be any hairstyle changes that we have here on the show. Maybe beard changes, but we will entertain you with our hot takes and our opinions on the Los Angeles Chargers. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Cannot wait to see you next time. And bolt up.